When I moved to Adams, Tennessee, it was supposed to be a fresh start. I'd heard the rumors about the Bell Witch, of course. Everyone had. But as a rational person, I dismissed the stories as local folklore. The land was cheap, and the old farmhouse, though a bit run down, had a certain charm. I thought it would be the perfect place to begin anew. Little did I know I was about to experience the haunting firsthand. The first few weeks were uneventful. I busied myself with repairs, trying to bring the old place back to life. The weather was warm, and the rural setting was peaceful. However, one evening, as I was sitting on the porch enjoying the twilight, I heard a faint knocking sound coming from the woods. At first, I thought it was a woodpecker or some other animal, but the knocking was too rhythmic, too deliberate. Curious and a bit unnerved, I walked toward the sound, flashlight in hand. The woods were dense, and the deeper I went, the darker it became. Suddenly, the knocking stopped, replaced by a chilling silence. I felt a cold breeze brush past me, sending shivers down my spine. I decided to head back to the house, dismissing the incident as my imagination playing tricks on me. That night, I was jolted awake by the sound of scratching at my bedroom window. Heart pounding, I turned on the light and cautiously approached the window. There was nothing there, but the scratching continued, louder and more insistent. It felt as if something was trying to get inside. I checked the locks and curtains, but the sound persisted, filling the room with an eerie, unsettling atmosphere. In the following days, the activity escalated. I would hear footsteps in the hallway when no one else was around. Objects moved on their own. Books fell off shelves. Chairs were pushed out from the table. And once I found all the kitchen drawers open, their contents strewn across the floor. My rational mind struggled to make sense of it all. Was I losing my sanity? One particularly cold night, as I sat in the living room reading, I heard a low, guttural voice call my name. "John!" it said, dragging out the syllables in a mocking tone. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I stood up, my legs trembling, and called out, "Who's there?" There was no response, only a chilling laughter that echoed through the house. Sleep became impossible. Every night I was tormented by strange sounds, whispers, growls, and the persistent knocking. One night as I lay in bed, I felt something cold and clammy wrap around my ankle. I screamed and kicked, but there was nothing there. My skin was covered in goosebumps, and my heart raced like never before. I couldn't stay in the house any longer. Desperate for answers, I reached out to the locals, hoping someone could help. They told me about the Bell Witch, how she had tormented John Bell and his family centuries ago. They spoke of her malevolent spirit, still lingering, searching for new victims. The stories were eerily similar to what I was experiencing. A kind old woman who claimed to be a descendant of the Bell family offered to help. She brought sage and holy water, performing rituals to cleanse the house. For a few nights, the activity seemed to subside, and I began to feel a glimmer of hope. But it was short-lived. One night, as I lay in bed, the air grew icy cold. I could see my breath fogging in the air. The knocking returned, louder and more aggressive than before. The voice called my name again, this time with a sense of urgency and malevolence. "John," it hissed, "you cannot escape me." I felt a pressure on my chest, as if an invisible weight was pinning me down. I struggled to breathe, my vision blurring. The room seemed to spin, and I could hear a cacophony of voices whispering, laughing, and taunting. I fought to stay conscious, to break free from whatever force was holding me down. Summoning all my strength, I managed to sit up, gasping for air. The pressure lifted, but the sense of dread remained. I knew I couldn't stay in the house any longer. I packed a bag, grabbed my car keys, and left without looking back. The drive through the dark, winding roads felt like an eternity, but I finally reached a motel and collapsed into a restless sleep. The next day I returned with a friend to gather my belongings. The house was eerily quiet, the oppressive atmosphere lifted. We packed up everything quickly, not wanting to spend a moment longer than necessary. As we left, I glanced back one last time. The old farmhouse stood silent, a testament to the horrors I had experienced. I moved far away from Adams, vowing never to return. The memories of those nights haunted me, but I was determined to start fresh. To this day, I still hear whispers in the dark and see fleeting shadows out of the corner of my eye. The Bell Witch had left her mark on me, a chilling reminder that some legends are all too real.